My name is Emma. I'm 28 years old, and this is the story of how I broke a good man's heart because I didn't have the courage to face my own. Before I begin, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I'd really love to know who's on the other side of this story. I live in a quiet Chicago neighborhood called Lincoln Park. From the outside, my life looks perfect. Tree-lined streets, a cozy apartment, a stable job at a bookstore, and a husband who loves me more than anything in the world. His name is Leo. He's 32. Kind, gentle, always smiling. The kind of man people pray to meet. And I don't love him. 1 year ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I wasn't thinking clearly back then. My heart had just been shattered by my ex, Alex. He walked out of my life without looking back, and I felt like someone had turned off the light inside me. I was angry. I was broken. I wanted to forget him as fast as I could. That's when Leo appeared. He'd been my friend for a while. He was there when I cried. He listened when I ranted. He brought me coffee, walked me home, made me laugh when I thought I'd never smile again. One evening, we were sitting under an old oak tree in a small park near my apartment. I was still hurting over Alex. I still remember the smell of the grass, the sound of cars in the distance, and the way the wind felt on my face. Leo looked at me with so much tenderness and said, "Emma, I love you. Will you marry me?" My heart didn't jump. I didn't feel butterflies. I felt tired. Tired of being sad. Tired of being alone. Tired of remembering Alex. So I said yes. Not because I loved Leo, but because I desperately wanted the pain to stop. I told myself, he's good, he's kind, love will come later. I believed that marriage could fix a broken heart. I was wrong. Fast forward to our married life. Every Friday, Leo brings me flowers. He cooks dinner when I'm tired. He slips little notes into my lunch bag. "You're my sunshine. Can't wait to see you tonight. I love you more every day." He calls me my love and kisses my forehead like I'm something precious. People say to me, "You're so lucky, Emma. He's perfect." And I smile, because what else can I do? But inside, I feel empty. I wake up every morning with a heavy heart. I go through the motions of being a wife, smiling, thanking him, hugging him back, but it feels like I'm acting in a play I never auditioned for. I remember one night, we were sitting on the balcony. The sky was full of stars, the air was warm, and everything looked like a scene from a romantic movie. Leo looked at me and said quietly, "Emma, I know you don't love me yet, but I believe you will. My love is strong enough for both of us. I'll wait." His voice was full of hope, and I wanted to scream, because there was nothing inside me to give him back. My mother once told me, love can grow with time. Marriage is not always about passion. It's about kindness, respect, and patience. I tried to believe her. I told myself, just wait. Just try harder. But the more I waited, the more foreign my own life felt. One Friday evening, Leo made a special dinner. My favourite: chicken pasta with garlic bread. Candles, soft music. He even wore the blue shirt I told him he looked handsome in. He smiled and said, "This is all for you, Emma. You are my everything." I said, "Thank you." I even tried to smile, but the food tasted like nothing. The music sounded far away, and I felt like a guest in my own home. After dinner, he took my hand and led me to the park where he proposed. The same oak tree, the same quiet streetlights. "Remember this place?" he asked. "I promised I will love you forever." I looked at him, at the tree, at the spot where I had said yes for all the wrong reasons. Inside my head, one sentence was screaming, "I don't love you, Leo." But I stayed silent, because he looked so happy, and I felt like the worst person alive. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, asking myself one question over and over. Will I ever be happy in this marriage? The next morning, my best friend Nina called. "You sound tired," she said. "What's wrong?" I hesitated, but for once I told the truth. "I don't love Leo," I whispered. "I married him to forget someone else, and now I feel trapped." There was a long pause. "Emma," she said softly, "maybe you need space, time apart. Maybe then you'll know what you really want." But it wasn't about time. It was deeper. My heart was simply silent with him. One Sunday, Leo dropped a question that froze my blood. "Emma," he said carefully, "do you want to have a baby? I think it might bring us closer." A baby. With a man I didn't love. I stared at my hands and forced out the words, "I'm not ready, Leo." He nodded. He didn't argue. He didn't pressure me. He just looked hurt and stayed gentle. That made it worse. That night, I wrote in my journal, "I feel like I'm drowning in this marriage. Leo is a good man, but I can't be the wife he deserves. Sometimes I want to leave, but I'm terrified. Will people say I'm selfish? Will they say I didn't try hard enough?" A few days later, I actually packed a small bag. I stood by the door, watching Leo sleep peacefully. I held that bag so tight my fingers hurt, and I couldn't do it. I dropped the bag, sat on the floor, and cried silently until the sun came up. The next morning, Leo kissed my cheek and said, "Good morning, my love. I believe in us." And once again, his hope crushed me. Life went on. Work at the bookstore, coming home, smiling, acting, saying, "I love you," less and less, because it felt like a lie on my tongue. One evening, Leo came home early with 2 movie tickets. "Emma," he said, "let's go out tonight, just you and me. I want to see you smile again." I didn't want to go, but I said yes, because saying no felt cruel. At the movie theater, he held my hand, laughed at the funny scenes, and kept glancing at me, searching my face for happiness. I tried to smile back. I really did. But inside, It was all numb. On the way home, he said, "That was fun, right?" I said, "Yeah, it was nice," and felt like a liar. The next day, I met Nina at a cafe near the lake. The sky was gray, the water was cold, and I felt like the weather matched my heart. "You look exhausted," she said. "What are you going to do?" "I feel like I'm in a box with no door," I told her. "If I leave, everyone will hate me. If I stay, I'm dying slowly inside." Nina took my hand. "Emma, no one can live your life for you. You and Leo both deserve the truth. You're not evil for wanting to be honest." Her words stayed with me. That night, I sat by the window in the dark, looking at the lights in other apartments. I wondered, are those people happy? Or are they pretending too? Leo came and sat next to me. "You've been so quiet lately," he said. "I feel like I'm losing you." I swallowed my truth one more time and lied, "I'm just tired. Work's been busy." He just nodded, but the sadness in his eyes told me he felt everything I was hiding. The breaking point came when he planned a weekend trip to Lake Geneva. "Maybe the fresh air will help," he said. "Maybe we just need time together." I didn't want to go, but again, I said yes. The lake was beautiful. Blue water, green trees, couples holding hands, kids running around, sunlight dancing on the surface. Leo laughed, took pictures, squeezed my hand. "This is nice, right?" he asked. I wished I could say yes and mean it. But inside, it felt like I was watching someone else's life. That night at the hotel, he gave me a small box. Inside was a delicate necklace with a tiny heart. "This is for you," he said. "My heart is yours." I almost broke. Not from happiness, but from guilt. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice shaking. When he fell asleep, I sat on the floor by the bed and thought about everything. How he stood by me when Alex left. How he picked up my broken pieces. How I mistook his kindness for a solution to my pain. I married him because I was broken, not because I loved him. And in that hotel room, I finally admitted to myself, it is worse to live without love than to live alone. When we returned to Chicago, I started writing letters to myself. "Emma, you are not a bad person," one letter said. "You made a mistake out of pain, not cruelty. But now you must be brave and stop living a lie." Another letter said, "Leo is not your home. He's a good man, but you cannot give him what he needs." Writing helped me see what I had been avoiding. A few days later, I called Nana. "I think I'm ready to tell Leo the truth," I said. "I'm proud of you," she replied. That evening, I made tea and asked Leo to sit with me. My hands were shaking. "Leo," I began, "I need to tell you something." He looked at me, quietly. "Okay." I took a deep breath. "I care about you. You're a good man, but I don't love you. I never truly did. I married you because I was heartbroken, and I wanted to forget someone else. I told myself love would come later. It never did." He didn't shout. He didn't stand up. He didn't accuse me. He just stared at the floor. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet. "I knew," he said. "I saw it in your eyes. I just didn't want to believe it." Tears streamed down my face. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "I never wanted to hurt you." He nodded slowly. "I love you, Emma. I really do. But I can't be the only one trying. If your heart isn't here, I can't hold you back." Even in pain, he was calm. We sat there for a long time. No screaming, no drama. Just two people finally facing a truth they'd both avoided. That night, I slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling and whispered to myself. I told the truth. Finally. And for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. The next days were quiet, heavy. We lived in the same apartment, but in different rooms. No more little notes, no more forehead kisses. Just coffee on the table in the morning. 2 cups. 2 strangers. One evening, I told him gently, "I think I need to move out." He didn't look surprised. "Do you have a place to go?" he asked. "Yes, Nina offered me her guest room." He nodded. "I'm not angry," he said quietly. "I'm just sad. But maybe this is the right thing." I cried. "I never wanted to break your heart." He gave me a small, tired smile. "You didn't break it. I gave it to you. I don't regret loving you." The next morning, I packed a small bag. Just clothes and a few books. I looked around our apartment. The coffee mug he loved, our wedding photo, the blanket we used during movie nights. He carried my bag to the door. "If you ever need anything," he said, "call me." "Thank you for everything, Leo," I replied. "You were always good to me." He looked at me one last time. "Take care, Emma." I walked out. Down the stairs. Out into the bright, ordinary sunlight. And I didn't look back. At Nina's place, I finally broke down. Not because I missed being Leo's wife, but because I felt everything at once. Guilt, sadness, fear. And buried deep under all of that, a thin line of hope. Hope that maybe, for the first time, I was choosing my own life. Days slowly turned into weeks. I helped Nena around the house. We cooked together, watched movies. She never pushed me to talk, but whenever I needed to cry, her arms were open. I started taking long walks by the lake, just watching people live. Walking dogs, riding bikes, drinking coffee on benches. That simple, everyday life gave me comfort. One day, I saw a flyer in a cafe. Creative writing class. Find your voice. Something inside me whispered, "Try this." So I did. In that class, with only 8 people, I started writing stories. At first, I was shy. Then slowly, I began to share. I wrote about heartbreak, about guilt, about a good man named Leo, about a woman who said yes to the wrong life. One evening, after class, I wrote a line in my notebook. I lost love before I ever found it, but now I am finally finding myself. For the first time in a long time, I smiled at something I had written. A few weeks later, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Leo. "Hi, Emma. I hope you're doing well. I'm taking some time for myself, too. I joined a cooking class. It helps. No need to reply. Just wanted you to know I'm okay." I stared at the message for a long moment, then wrote back. "Hi, Leo. I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm in a writing class now. It's helping me too. Wishing you peace and happiness." We didn't talk again after that, and that was okay. Some goodbyes are quiet. Months passed. I rented a small studio near the bookstore. Bare walls, secondhand furniture, small kitchen. But it was mine. I painted the walls light yellow, put flowers on the windowsill, hung a picture of the lake where I had cried and decided to change my life. Every morning I made my own coffee, sat by the window, and watched the world. Sometimes I felt lonely, of course, but I also felt free. One day while cleaning, I found the little heart necklace Leo had given me at the lake. I held it in my hand for a long time. I couldn't wear it. It didn't belong to this new chapter of my life. But I also couldn't throw it away. So I put it in a box with a note. "Thank you for your kindness. I couldn't keep your heart, but I'll never forget it." I gave the box to Nina and asked her to return it to him. As seasons changed, I did too. I started laughing more often, made friends in my writing class, learned to be alone without feeling empty. One night, I looked in the mirror and saw someone new. A woman with tired eyes, yes, but also with a softer, more honest smile. A woman who had made mistakes, but who finally owned her story. I whispered to my reflection, "It's not a perfect story, but it's mine." So what did I learn? Never marry to fill a void. Never say yes just to escape pain. Never silence your heart just because someone is good, kind, and loves you. They deserve real love. And so do you. If you see yourself in any part of my story, if you feel trapped, guilty, or scared to be honest, I want you to hear this. You are not a monster for wanting to be happy. You are not evil for telling the truth. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to start again. Being real is scary, but sometimes it's the bravest thing we can do. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, please hit like, share it with someone who might need it, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And have you ever stayed in something your heart had already left? More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to hear them.